I think he is going to stay. I also think declining the player option was a guarantee, which is why Rich is talking about him as if he already has declined it.
It's the biggest non-story.
Right. So him declining the player option, if he wants to leave, he has to do it. And if he wants to stay, it's the smart thing because then he can lock in more guaranteed years. Right. And if you stay with the Lakers, then lock in as many guaranteed years as you can. I think he's better off leaving. I think that one of the main reasons that everyone was so certain he wasn't leaving previously was because Bronny was going to be at USC. Bronny is now going to be somewhere else, assuming he stays in the draft, or even if he doesn't, if he were to transfer somewhere. So that part's now gone from it. I also think the Lakers, any trust that you had in the organization has dwindled over the last few years. People can say all they want about LeBron pulling all these puppet strings, but oddly, two of the most important ones he evidently was unable to pull. He was unable to pull the hire Ty Lue puppet string 4 years ago, and he was unable to pull the trade for Kyrie Irving when his value's at an all-time low puppet string a year and a half ago. And I don't know how LeBron feels watching Kyrie go on this playoff run. I'm sure he's happy for him because they have fixed the rift that they had and they are good friends. Yep. I'm sure there's also a little bit of, gosh darn it, man. We could have had him for you look back and see.
Kyrie.
Well, and by the way, I will be one of the first people to put my hand up saying at the time I was skeptical of Kyrie being a part of winning basketball anywhere. We argued about it all the time.
That's one place I liked Kyrie.
The only place Brew really liked Kyrie was the Lakers with LeBron. But so to me, from a basketball standpoint, there are a lot of better options. And from a how well is the organization run, there's probably 24 better options in a league of 2.5 teams. And so I think he's better off leaving. I don't think it's what he's likely going to do.
Look, I agree. I think he's staying in L.A., all right? And I also think, and we talked about family and stuff, Bronny, yes, not at USC, but Bryce, his son, isn't playing in high school. He has his younger daughter.
Of course.
They're settled, the businesses, all that. You know, I think he's staying. But I'm just going to look at it from a basketball standpoint. Like, if his goal is just to win, Philadelphia, that's the place he should go. They've got the money to max him out. And with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, I mean, LeBron would be a great fit. I think if I'm the Sixers, I know they're going after Paul George. I like LeBron better. Because they're both older. Now, obviously, LeBron is much older than George, but George gets hurt a decent amount. George is even still at LeBron's age, not as good as LeBron. And I just think that LeBron, like, if I'm the Sixers, I am not looking at Joel's numerical age and saying, oh, we got plenty of time. I'm looking at his physical health. Yep. And I'm like, we got to win now. And the best player for them to win now that's available would be LeBron. And so I think if I were LeBron, I just wanted to win, that's the place to go. Also, you could not look at, if he went to Philly and won a championship, no one could look at it as like Kevin Durant going to Golden State.
They haven't been
because they haven't been past the second round with Embiid. All right, and Embiid, it would take pressure off Embiid to have to carry them in the playoffs, teach Maxey, who's still young. And so, and you're in the East. You would have Milwaukee and Boston pretty much to go through. And so I'm not saying that's easy, but I think the best place for him would be Philly from a basketball standpoint.
Do you think there's actually any leverage to becoming a free agent, or is that just nothing? Whereas, like, he's a free agent, this is going to force Pelinka to make some moves to capitalize on the small window we have when everybody, I think, thinks like you think, where families here, businesses here. Where are the Lakers?
So I want to make it clear. I think the smart bet is he's back with the Lakers. I do not think it's 100%.
Okay.
And I do not think he has made up his mind 100%. I think that there are things that can happen league-wide or within the Lakers that could change his opinion on it. I also think that it is honest and it is telling that LeBron is. I know some people just refuse to believe this, even though everyone that seemingly has any type of connection to LeBron's camp or Rich or anyone is saying the same thing. He is not giving his input on who their next head coach should be. Now, part of that is he just said, you know what, my job's here to play basketball. Part of that also might be because if I'm not certain I'm going to be on the team, it's kind of rude to be like, here's who the coach should be. And so I think that there are things that can happen that could tilt this, even if the smart money is on him being with the Lakers. And you mentioned Philly. I think that Miami or the Knicks, he would be in a better position to win a championship because it is so tilted differently out east versus out west, and because Miami and the Knicks have established cultures and coaches. And the Lakers don't have that right now. The Lakers are on this coach carousel. We don't know what the supporting cast is going to look like. We don't know what their commitment to winning right now is versus this nebulous kind of trying to play in both eras. So I think it's not, Philly is, I agree, the best option, but I thought Philly was the best option for the record when he picked the Lakers the first time, 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the Miami Heat culture and the Knicks, Tibbs, that's a lot to get through to get to the playoffs.
All right, so there's one other team.
Hard play.
I'm a bit skeptical. What say you, Bruce?
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't think he's taking the minimum to go play in Phoenix or anywhere. All right. Now, strictly from a basketball standpoint, we know he's got tons of money. It's not like he has to get the extra money.
$50 million.
Yeah, I mean he's a billionaire, so he's fine. But basketball-wise, I'd love it.
Oh,
I mean he answers the question. The biggest question about that team was what? Their fourth quarter situation. Yeah. They were the worst fourth quarter team in the league by a healthy margin. And because they didn't have a decision maker. That's what LeBron could do, is make the decision for that team. Look, if he went to Phoenix, they'd be nice.
Here's the problem.
And you're closer to LA theoretically, so you see the family.
So when people talk about him going to Phoenix, the Phoenix's roster is so poorly put together. LeBron would instantly become their best option at point guard and their best option at center.
Yeah.
That's how. Honest to God, if you were to,
but they wouldn't obviously play him at center.
Well, I mean, the Lakers did for a year. I mean, they could. I'm saying he would be their best option at those two.
Is serviceable.
Okay, sure. I think, in my opinion, he'd be the best option at both spots. The money thing is almost, to me, not the most relevant point of it. Because you're talking about it as if it's disqualifying, and maybe it is. But there are a lot of places, to me, that make sense for him if he wanted to take the minimum. The reason Phoenix, the only thing Phoenix has going for it that your independent film and Tom Cruise doesn't have is, you don't have one of Tom Cruise's kind of best buds that he's never been able to work with already signed up for the film.
I mean, maybe
it would be if he wanted to play with Kevin Durant and, you know what I mean, and see what that would look like. What I think is more likely, given how Phoenix is run, is that Phoenix is like, you know what? Ishbia is like, you know what? I think we're going to get LeBron, pardon me. Let's go ahead and spend that 22nd pick on Bronny, and then LeBron re-signs with the Lakers. And they've spent one of their only remaining first-round picks on LeBron's son in hopes to recruit LeBron there, and it doesn't end up happening. If he is willing to take the minimum, I think we could do a list of teams, Brew, that make more sense than Phoenix does.
You think he's going to take the minimum?
No.
I'm
just saying if we wanted to.
I'm saying
do that exercise.
If he were to, it's not as if the only.
Phoenix
my point is, it's not as
go.
if Phoenix, the only thing working against them is the money. My point is, once we say okay, he'll take the minimum, there are 3 or 4 teams that I wouldn't like it, but Golden State makes more sense than Phoenix for the minimum, right? Yeah. Dallas, if they don't win this championship, makes more sense than Phoenix for the minimum. You mentioned Milwaukee.
Amazing.
There's a lot of places, but as is guaranteed to be the case, if LeBron took the minimum, people would kill him on a legacy standpoint, and when he takes the maximum, people will kill him from a legacy standpoint. People will say, take less money and prioritize winning, do what Dirk and Tim Duncan did, and if he takes the minimum, people say you're stacking the deck. Like that is
I don't
no
think they
matter
kill him
what
for taking the
contract.
max.
I think unless
max,
if he
no.
takes 3 for $65 million, I think people will be like, that's okay. Everything else he'll get crushed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.